Bradley Beal has been in the news recently for the NBA, as Bradley Beal was seen soaking on the sidelines in a loss to the New Orleans Pelicans early in the week. And Bradley Beal is extremely frustrated in Washington. When asked by a reporter, "Are you frustrated? Are you irritated with the way things are going?" his response is the sky blue, which I thought that was a really great response. It was probably one of the most authentic ways that he could have handled that situation. I love that response, is the sky blue. And as he should be. Bradley Beal signed a 2-year, $47 million extension with the Wizards, I think it was last year. And everybody was like, that's a bad idea. And this is why that's a bad idea. So a lot of people are probably like, I have no sympathy for Bradley Beal. He did this to himself. And really, Bradley Beal is a case of when loyalty screws you over. A lot of people, there's a lot of debate, especially with the recent NBA. It's like, where do you draw the line between doing what's best for you as a player and being loyal to your franchise? Especially since franchises have the ability to trade you on the second. Loyalty. Loyalty is a big pop word, I guess. I don't know what pop word is, but it's a big word in today's NBA. Loyalty is something that comes out a lot. And Bradley Beal has been loyal to a fault with the Washington Wizards, to the point where he's in his 9th season. The Wizards have done jack-ish with the team while he's been a part of the Wizards, and he's been increasingly one of the most underrated players in the NBA today, especially at the shooting guard position. So, he's frustrated, but he's still dedicated to the Washington Wizards, at least until the season is over. Then he potentially would like to explore a trade. And of course, as the March 15th trade deadline increases and approaches, he might also consider and reconsider his position with the Wizards and ask for a trade then. So, and this is reaching far into the future, but everybody else is doing it, so why not me too? Where would Bradley Beal be a good fit for? What's a great trade destination for Bradley Beal? What team should make a trade for Bradley Beal? And my mind instantly went to the New Orleans Pelicans, the team that kicked the Wizards' butt earlier on Wednesday night. I think that Bradley Beal and the Pelicans would be a great fit, because Bradley Beal has one of the rare mindsets in the NBA. Again, Bradley Beal is loyal to a fault. New Orleans is a small market team that thrives, lives and dies based on players that have a lot of loyalty. You have the players that chase rings in big markets like LA, Chicago, Miami, New York, Toronto even. And then you have the smaller, more niche markets that dwell on players that have loyalty, that enjoy a grind, that enjoy, some of the smaller, quieter things in life. And Washington, D.C. is a big city, but it's kind of a small basketball city. And I just think, wow, Bradley Beal, for what Bradley Beal is, loyal to a fault, he'd be perfect with the New Orleans Pelicans. And the New Orleans Pelicans have a lot of talent that I think the Wizards would be interested in. Not to mention some leftover draft picks from the Anthony Davis trade that happened 2 years ago at this point. So, the New Orleans, I think, would probably be an ideal trading spot for Bradley Beal. I also thought Miami would be a great destination for Beal, but with how the Heat are playing, as we just discussed in the previous segment, I don't know that their trade value for those players are necessarily going up at this point. I think it's only trending downward. So unfortunately, that might make them miss out on a potential Bradley Beal sweepstakes. Again, there have been reports, that Bradley Beal is not interested in a trade and that teams aren't asking for trades with Beal. That could change pretty quickly. Depending on what happens. I mean, look what happened with Deshaun Watson in the NFL. I mean, that trade, or that rift in the relationship between Watson and the Texans happened literally overnight. But for New Orleans, there's still so much capital left over from the Anthony Davis trade that they have assets that I think the Wizards would be interested in, and it's a city and it's an environment that would work well with Beal. Beal would be a veteran player on a team that has a lot of exciting young talent, and I think that's just really exciting. That's a lot of the reason for why I think Bradley Beal would want to go to the Pelicans and why the Pelicans should be interested in Beal. You have the Lakers' first-round pick this year. you have, or perhaps maybe that's next year. So there's a protected first round pick and there's an unprotected first round pick. I think the unprotected first round pick is in 2022, which would actually be more beneficial for the Wizards, considering that Beal currently hasn't shown no interest in being traded. So the 2022 unprotected first round, they have a 2021 protected first round pick from the Lakers as well. They have multiple second round picks, and then they also have a lot of exciting young players that they can move, potentially like a Josh Hart, Alonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball has been in trade rumors recently, so that would make a lot of sense. I think they are trying to get Lonzo Ball out of New Orleans, especially because they have Eric Bledsoe at the point guard position currently, and he's doing fine. But could you imagine? And this just made me smile. This sounds like an exciting young basketball team when you put it all together. Could you imagine a starting lineup with Brandon Ingram, Bradley Beal, Zion Williamson, Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe as the starting five? That would be utterly exciting to me. And you also have some exciting young players. Willy Hernangomez is a nice role-playing piece. That would be a really exciting young lineup. Now, the Pelicans have a little bit of a cap space problem, and that's really the only thing that's... If this trade were to happen today, that is the one thing that would be preventing the Pelicans from making this trade, because the Pelicans have a lot of contracts that are expiring, rookie contracts. So they are going to have some cap space hell to deal with. They signed Steven Adams or the trade happened to get Steven Adams. I can't remember if he was signed or traded. Regardless, he's got a big contract. Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, all of those guys, they're going to have expiring contracts soon that they're going to want some more money. They're going to want to get paid, even though they haven't necessarily been the best prospects in the NBA recently. Brandon Ingram had a great season last season. Lonzo Ball has been kind of meh the entire way through. Josh Hart has been meh the entire way through. And of course, the Pelicans trading away Drew Holiday at the beginning of the season. There's a lot of cap issues to work in and out and around with the Pelicans that would prevent them from making a play with Bradley Beal. It depends on really what the Wizards would want. If they want players, that would help the Pelicans out a lot. If they want draft picks, that might make the Pelicans a little bit less attractive of a trade destination for Wizards and Bradley Beal. But just at face value, that sounds like a good landing spot for Bradley Beal. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. I know some of you are bigger basketball fans than I am. I'm very interested to hear and see what your thoughts are, where you would like to see Bradley Beal. And who knows, you can never rule out some of those other teams that, some big market teams that would want to make a play for somebody like this. But for what Bradley Beal is, for who he is as a person, and who he is as a player, and what the Wizards would want in exchange for Beal, I think the Pelicans are a really good place to start. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this segment from the Hard Headed Sports Podcast. You've heard what I've had to say, now I'm interested to hear what you think as well. If you enjoyed this highlight from the show and want to watch more highlights from the show as they come out after the show's completion, you should definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you're interested in listening to the entire show in its full-length entirety, you should follow the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all very soon.